Okay, let me start with this. How can one man cause so much chaos and be so hilarious with barely a word? That's right, I'm talking about Mr. Bean. This guy, he's like the silent ninja of slapstick comedy. You can't believe half the stuff he does until you see it. Like, can you really imagine a grown man trying to eat a sandwich with a knife and fork? And not just any sandwich, a simple sandwich. This isn't even a fancy chef's special, it's just bread and stuff. But no, Mr. Bean takes it to another level, like he's doing surgery on it. Why, Bean? Why? But wait, this man doesn't stop there.
Oh no.
Mr. Bean's not just out here to screw up a sandwich, he's got bigger plans, like when he decides to buy a painting at an art gallery. You're thinking, okay, this is going to be a normal museum visit, right? Wrong. He decides to swipe a painting, hide it in his jacket, and then pretend it's his own artwork, because apparently, the guy's so good at subtlety he couldn't even steal it properly. Does he really think no one would notice a huge canvas sticking out of his coat? Let's talk about one of the most iconic Mr. Bean moments, the Christmas turkey. This guy literally gets his head stuck inside a turkey. How does this even happen? How? Are we really supposed to believe this man can't figure out how to stuff a turkey without turning it into a headless disaster? And just when you think he's gonna learn from his mistake, nope, he's back at it with even more bizarre attempts at cooking. This man is a walking disaster zone. And don't even get me started on when he tries to drive his car, it's like the car is an extension of his chaotic brain, but worse. He somehow finds a way to drive while causing traffic mayhem with his exaggerated movements, unnecessary honking, and that classic car dance of his. But here's the real kicker, the guy goes through life with absolutely no verbal communication. Seriously, no words. Just pure genius physical comedy. It's almost like a superpower, he's telepathically able to make us laugh just by looking at us. And it's not like he needs a lot of complex storylines either. No, Mr. Bean can have a completely hilarious day just by going to the grocery store or getting stuck in an elevator. He's the silent but deadly type, like the assassin of comedy. He doesn't need to talk, he just needs to create chaos and let us laugh at his misfortune. And let's talk about the car. Mr. Bean's green car, which is literally the most abused car in history. It's been hit, crushed, squashed, and dented in every possible way. This guy literally treats his car like a scrapyard and somehow, it still runs. But the funniest part is that his car becomes a character itself. It's like Mr. Bean has the most dysfunctional relationship with a car, and somehow that makes everything more hilarious. Then there's the infamous episode where Mr. Bean goes to the beach. Of course, he can't just relax on the sand like a normal person. No, he manages to turn a relaxing beach day into a series of events involving a deadly sunburn, stealing someone's inflatable mattress, and using a bucket as a pillow. It's almost like he's contracted an illness that causes him to do everything the most ridiculous way possible. Is there a class for this? But if you really want to understand Mr. Bean's brilliance, you've got to look at the perfect balance of mischief and innocence. This guy's an absolute mischievous man-child who doesn't have a bad bone in his body, but he's also got an uncanny ability to create destruction everywhere he goes. Yet, he somehow gets away with it because he's got this charming, bumbling fool persona. It's like we all know he's making life harder for himself, but we love him for it because, let's face it, if someone else did all this stuff, we'd call them a disaster. But when Mr. Bean does it, it's comedic genius. Honestly, when I watch Mr. Bean, I can't help but think, this is one weird dude. But he's so entertaining in his weirdness, and you can't stop laughing. I mean, this guy doesn't even need to talk, but somehow he's one of the most iconic characters of all time. The ultimate silent hero, showing us that you don't need to say a word to be the funniest person in the room. So, how does Mr. Bean make you laugh with absolutely no dialogue? I don't know, but it's basically magic, and I'm here for it. This guy is the true definition of comedy gold.